for you called Blues for Cy.
Yeah, that was a little 4-beat blues, Mike. You know,
Right.
what do you? I mean, you got some things about that. I mean, you're more of an expert on that, living in New York and playing a lot of jazz and things.
Well, I think the main thing that a rhythm player should understand about swing music is no matter how much technical ability you have or how fast you can play or what innovative ideas you may have, the most important thing is to be able to make it swing. And once you learn that swing is a rhythm the same as backbeat rhythms, then you can start to really, attack that situation and develop something really beautiful, in as far as swing goes. And playing the blues, when you talk about playing the blues, well, I could think of many different ways, styles of blues to play it. When you think of blues, you think of B.B. King, you know, but then also you could be thinking of Count Basie or John Coltrane. So this kind of information, understanding the history of the music and what piece of the puzzle fits where is very important.
Yeah.
But even apart from all that, I'd say the main thing about swing is it's got to swing.
Yeah, but I think one of the biggest things that you really pointed out is that is having some knowledge of history of different types of music that are related, you know, and as far back as you can go. I mean, you know, I was listening to Dixieland. I've tried. We've done, you know, we've done jobs like that from everything. It gives you a much wider scope to base your knowledge on and to have something to really develop upon in order to grow from. You know, it's well.
In order to move forward, you have to understand
right.
where the music came from, and
That's true.
That's very important. Just as important as, you know, technique or being able to, you know, express have your ideas manifest in the music.
Yeah, Mike, I think now I think it'd be maybe really important. Why don't you give a little demonstration of some different styles of this thing of playing rhythms for swing. You know, what is swing? You know, what is swing for a drummer? You know, and then after I think I'll join you, but I'll let you start some different things.
Okay.
Okay, we'll try that.
Okay. As I've said before earlier, swing is a rhythm. So I would like to demonstrate in the following demonstration exactly how this works. Okay. So you notice I played the swing beat on the ride cymbal and then on the tom-tom. This was to show you that it is a rhythm. It's not a mystery. It's not mental. You feel it the same way as you can feel backbeat music, like most of the music today. Same thing. Gong, 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 you know. And on the cymbal, tang, 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 tang. So that's what I meant by that demonstration, that it is a rhythm and it should not be looked at as a mystery. Otherwise, you can lose many years of your career.
Yeah, and you know, it's another thing that actually you really just pointed out, Mike, that I notice a lot of the younger musicians don't do it. They don't vocalize their part. You know, and you have it's a different feeling if you can, like, if I want to play something, if I vocalize it, sometimes it gives me more of a natural feeling than actually trying to play it. If I go doon 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 doon, I mean, it's just like you do on the drum.
Right.
It's I think that's an important part of the thing about learning too.
Well, some of the great jazz musicians we've been hearing all our lives. If you can sing it, you can play it.
That's true. That's true. How about another different style of something in the 4-beat? While we're talking about on 4-beat and playing jazz, because you've been doing a lot of work on that. About some of the modern jazz styles. How about a little thing about that?
Okay, so maybe we can demonstrate a little brighter tempo, and rather than playing the hi-hat on the 2 and the 4 and using the the stock kind of devices, for lack of a better word, we'll show you how to play a little brighter cut and break it up a little bit, quote unquote modern or post-bop playing.
We'll use a little bit more modern thing. This is more of a thing of like the bass player actually keeping more of a vamp, and while the drummer breaks up the rhythm in time. This will be interesting.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now, after that, I think the best thing to go is then we're going to talk about time feeling. There's many different types of ways of creating a different feeling in the music, from either the drummer playing behind or not only just together with you. In musicians' terms, they call this how big your pocket is. I mean, this is how wide of a groove. You can make a groove very narrow feeling and very tight feeling by playing exactly right on the time and everything else. So you can make it feel wide and have a lot more feeling by the way that the drums and bass relationship balance each other from the different ways that he would play time. So Mike is now going to demonstrate a drummer playing actually almost right, very straight and together with the bass line. We're going to be doing the same rhythm over and over, but should be able to hear the differences in the sound. This first one will be us playing together, very tight and straight.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's with the drums playing pretty tight and right on it. Now you can play the same tempo. We'll play the same groove, and this is with Mike playing putting a lot more feeling, adding a lot more feeling to the rhythm by playing his backbeat a little bit behind the actual downbeat. It makes it feel. He doesn't slow down, but it's just the way that it makes it feel wider on the groove. Here it goes.
1, 2, 3.
Now, when a drummer does this, you can also add a lot more tension to this by the bass player playing a little bit more on top of the beat, so it sounds almost like he's pulling the drummer.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, now we'd like to give a mix. This is like a combination of not only playing straight ahead and real tight together, but also being able to lay back some part of the beats in a syncopated type rhythm. This is more or less actually what we really do together. We'll be breaking this up. This is a combination of both, though. If you listen carefully, you'll hear some of the beats drop way in the back, and but at the same time, the time is actually really has the feeling of moving forward. Here we go.
1,
Yeah, that's different types of grooves and how to make them feel. So far as the way that the relationship of the drummer and the bass together on how they play. Another important part, which I definitely want to hand over to Mike right now, is it's like drummers fill-ins. And what type of fill-ins do you play on what type of music? And the proper relationship is something that I think that a lot of musicians, young musicians, could need to know. Mike, take it from the
Yeah,
drums.
okay. First of all, what he's talking about, once again, is history. You must study the music because it's a language, and if you're in a different country and you don't know the language, then you're going to have problems getting around without a lot of help. And it's the same with the music. I have studied and am still continuing to study music, starting with, like, say, in jazz music, from Louis Armstrong to Wynton Marsalis. And the same study I'm constantly making all my life of the blues, and also funky music, or rhythm and blues music from, the 50s until now. So in order to know pretty much what kinds of fill-ins go with what kind of bass lines, then we're talking about you have to know the language so you know the answer to the questions or being proposed to you. So this is a constant study, and it's like a thing that I consider myself sort of an expert on, and
For example,
and so I'll give you a couple of examples. Say we'll talk about backbeat music of fill-ins, ranging from, say, fill-ins that might be used in the 50s, 60s, and now in the 90s. Okay.
One, two, three.
So during the 60s, the rhythm patterns changed. They got a little bit more complex, so the fills changed along with them. So now I'd like to demonstrate three types of fills that were probably used during the 60s, or that I know for a fact were used during the 60s, and like that.
One, two.
So that brings us up to the 70s.
Yeah.
And this is pretty much where Paul and I came in when we started working with Herbie Hancock, and we invented or added on to the language.
Yeah, it started out. What happened in the 70s when we really started back then was that, like, it became okay for the fill-ins between a bass player and the drums, to actually play off of each other, so that like it added a different type of unity, and it also added more space. So like so a bass player would play almost like a bass lead and type of fill-in to set up a drum part, and drums would do the same, and leave space for things to happen as part of the rhythm, as that unify the parts. It wasn't like a bass part and just on a drum part. It was like one thing that came together.
And also, there wasn't a definite backbeat on the 2 and the 4. You just kind of played the backbeat wherever you felt it. So for the drum set, it was sort of like soloing between the bass, the snare, and the hi-hat.
It opened everything up. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Creative improv, but yet the time was still there. Everybody knew where the 1 was.
Yeah, well, let's try a little bit of that.
Okay.
Okay, next we have a live demonstration of a song that demonstrates a little bit of some of the things that we've been teaching so far.
And this is a really a joyous occasion for both Paul and myself. This is a reunion. We haven't worked together in 5 years. So the same as all music styles tend to develop and move forward and advance, what we attempted to do was take the style that we created, Paul and I together, and have it advance as well. So we did this unrehearsed. We just went for it. It was very spontaneous. So we made an attempt to update the rhythms that we've been using thus far. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, now me and Mike would like to replay the groove that we played on the song before, so you can get a clear understanding of it. Mike's going to play and break up the groove a little bit more as we go along, so you can understand maybe a little bit more about the relationship between the bass and the drum part. Well, Mike, how about explaining that? You know, I mean, the bass part is actually pretty standard. Not standard, but I mean, it lays in a pocket. You know, but the thing that you're playing is pretty unusual. Would you mind explaining that?
No, not at all. What I did was I picked key pivot points out of Paul's bass line and anchored that down with my bass drum, and then I tried to find what they call ghost notes.
The don't, right? That's what.
Yeah,
the
don't.
Yeah.
So all the things that weren't don't, I refer to as ghost notes. So what I did was use a four-way drum style.
What's a four-way drum style?
Well, a four-way drum style is rather than an independent drum style where, say, the left hand is playing one rhythm and the right hand is playing another. This is where each limb plays a separate note apart from the other one.
That's like both their arms and both feet. You're doing a completely four-way thing.
Yeah, exactly. And what I tried to do was find the important bass notes and anchor those down with my bass drum, and then find creative ghost patterns. They call it ghosting, to move around inside that bass line to create an interesting effect.
Hey, can you? Is there any way that you can maybe demonstrate like an exercise or something for the four-way independent type rhythm? You know, for maybe I think maybe drummers would be interested in being able to see something like that.
Certainly. Okay.
You can do that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that. A little demonstration. That's amazing. How long did it take you to develop that?
I've been doing it since about 1970, but I just found out during that demonstration that it's easier for me to play faster than it is slower.
Yeah.
So,
well, why don't you do it fast once?
great. Okay.
Let's hear it. Yeah, I guess only other thing we got to kind of get down into is the different rhythm styles. Some of the basic things. Let's start with like some of the old shuffles. What do you think about that? Which would you like to start
Well,
with?
the first thing I would show if I would demonstrate if I were teaching would be
you're
just the
teaching,
old, all right, just the old Bill Doggett honky tonk
Okay,
style.
honky tonk?
Yeah.
Okay, honky tonk, here we go.
1, 2.
So here's one of my favorites. This is a certain version of what they call the Texas Shuffle.
Texas Shuffle. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mike, that was a lot of fun playing that old shuffle. I'll let you explain about it this time. Come on,
Thank you, Paul. Okay.
You got it.
I'll just simplify things by saying the next shuffle we're getting ready to play is sort of the Albert King real Texas faster shuffle where you keep the notes a little more closer together than one might think. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, yeah, Mike. I think it's time to talk a little bit about playing 4-beat. Earlier we gave a more of a demonstration of playing, but the practical side of it and playing together, so far as the bass and drums, is that let's say a medium tempo 4-beat type thing. You're playing like so your left hand's a little bit is behind. Why don't you just explain that? Because I want you to explain that, and then so I'll relate to like how the bass player would play for it.
see.
Like, you know, in a medium tempo, actually to pull it up a little bit, the bass would more. I usually try to play a little bit more on top of the beat and a little bit more in front of it, and a little bit more in front of it, and kick it back with different feels, you know, with little bit feels, but more or less like the bass is kind of like adding a kind of a energy, like it's like the battery of our electric engine. It's getting a real power behind it, and you know, and the drummer's kind of like driving the thing. You know, he's really like the engineer, really driving the place on it. You know, I mean, how do you relate to that? I mean, how do you relate to playing with a bass player?
Well, pretty much what you said is exactly it, except from a drummer's point of
From
view.
the drummer's side, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I play a little bit behind the beat on the cymbal, and
yeah.
a little bit lazy.
And that makes a little tension.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and because if you try to drive the beat out at a medium tempo, it makes it sound too tight or too stiff for me. And then, and then the conversation between the left hand bass drum and hi hat at a medium tempo, I find that triplets are a triplet kind of feel is the easiest way for
I mean,
me
if you
to
had
get
to
through.
sing it, I mean, it would be like dan 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 dan, and I mean,
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Oh, come on, you can sing
Oh,
that. You know, I mean, you know, I mean, this.
Well, if I had to sing it, I would sing.
Okay, I'll sing a bass part.
Okay, I would sing.
Dun, 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 dun,
Bash, you know.
Okay, that's right. That's how you do it. That's what's happening. This, hey, okay, just we'll do. We've done this before, but like just to really illustrate it a little bit more, let's try it one more time.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that was like some medium, the laid back type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, we can. How about the fast tempos? What's a little bit different on that? I usually the bass is going really straight ahead, pretty straight ahead. I usually try to keep get a flow where it's like where it just forms a kind of energy where you know, like it has a lot of movement in it, has a lot of movement, energy in it. Not rushing, but every dun 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 dun. You know, walks through the thing, and then for the drums, how do you relate to that when you play with a bass player?
Well, I just try to keep the time together and do things that sound sensible, and don't try to take too many chances until I get really comfortable with it, and then I start applying, you know, my type of language into the music. But mainly, I just try to hang in there.
Okay, how about let's just take for example, just one course of rhythm changes.
Okay.
And see how it works out.
Okay, great.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's nice. Like, I think now, see, we're up to getting into. I'd like to talk a little bit about the 16-beat thing. You know, where it came to with 16-beat funk. I mean, it's like, for me, it seemed like it just about started in Oakland. You know, I mean, except for, I mean, there are few people like you, Clive Stubblefield.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah. One of the first guys I ever heard do that.
Yeah.
Drummer with James Brown through the 60s.
Yeah, what was he doing? Because it made the bass part just walk. It made the time just keep on moving. You know, it had really a lot of energy in it.
Well, I knew a guy that was the musical director of that band, and he
Which
had
band was that?
The James Brown's band.
James Brown's.
Yeah, and he had to write out Clyde's parts one time, and he said that everywhere there was a 16th note, Clyde would play something. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I think that's how that came about, and also Bernard Purdie had it.
Bernard had it really, yeah.
Great hand
The
in
combination
developing that
of
style
Bernard
as
and
well.
Jerry Jamont was
Absolutely.
they were really rocking
Yeah.
too, on that. And see, what was the thing? Is it like the 16? They kept it. Was it mostly in the snare drum, or was it, or just dropping it almost every place?
Dropping it almost every place. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you
Mostly
have-
in the hi hat, really.
Mostly in the hi-hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do a little bit of that.
Yeah. Okay.
This the earlier stuff first.
The earlier stuff first. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll try. Yeah, that did it.
That did it. Yeah.
That did it. But see, then after that, then you took it. You had another. There's another part of it that where they started to add the. Not only that, but they had the hi-hat thing working for against itself. So like it was almost like it swung, you know, and that's what's happening on the thing. Like it still had the swing in it, you know, and you know, which made that groove real heavy. Let's do a little bit of that.
Okay.
Yeah, see, like that groove was a real "Give It Up, Turn Me Loose" from James Brown thing. It was a little bit tighter and tighter of a groove, and more stiffer type of thing. You know, I always always like the first one, the one we did before.
That was always your favorite.
That's always my favorite because
Yeah.
like it had the swing thing. But there's something that came after that actually during that same time. I'm using the same bass line right now, just to kind of illustrate the difference in the way I change the way I play the bass line in order to match the rhythm that you're doing. You know, how does that work for you?
Well, it feels great. That's all I know. You know?
Okay, let's go. I mean, let's go on. Okay, there's actually a couple of more, because I want to bring it all the way up to date. But before we do that, give me a little of that hi-hat, that hi-hat, when you make the hi-hat walk and you're doing the ride, you still got that thing happening, and you know, in the left hand on the cymbal. You know,
Okay.
that was another really great beat. Okay, we'll try a little bit of that. Okay, I think the next song we're gonna show on the live is from Geraldine's Revenge. Yeah, that was a pretty straightforward song. It just kind of just demonstrated just some of the things of bass playing and having the feel, playing a line and you're answering your own question. That's pretty much what that song was about on the live. Let's see, going on, I think one of the last little things I'd like the mic to show is because it gives me a new idea. It's when drummers can come up with different beats and everything. He's always great for coming up with some strange stuff. But he has a couple of special techniques that I like to show off and maybe even get a chance to see if I can find something to play with right now. It's a new hi-hat technique that I haven't heard before until he just came here to Japan to make this video with me and do these concerts. Mike, I want you to show me that, tell me about it. How do you get that thing? It's a real fast hi-hat thing that you do. It's it sounds almost like a roll on it, but you're not really doing it. Can you explain it?
Well, it is kind of like a roll, but I'm dividing it up between the different drums, hands and feet.
Yeah. I mean, it starts on the hi-hat and then goes and answers with the snare. It's actually.
Well, it can start either place.
In either place and go.
Yeah, yeah.
You mind showing me that and see if I can come up with something to play with.
Sure.
With it.
Okay.
know, man.
Don't ask me, man.
I don't know what it was.
I don't either.
Well, we just made that up. You know, I mean, if you want to learn how to make a groove, you have to just kind of jump in and do it. That's the best advice I can tell you. Is you got to go out there and just try something. You know, I mean, we never did that before, and
already we got ideas for it.
Yeah,
so we want to try it again. We want another chance.
just a little, okay, just a little bit.
Want a reprieve here.
Get my
I don't know
stuff
what
together,
I don't know
man,
what it was I was playing, but and I'm gonna try to make it come out even this time, whatever it was.
Don't make it come out even. You know,
Probably won't be able
was
to.
it? Well, we did it, man.
Did it again.
That's right.
Right. I guess we did it.
Yeah, I think so. Try it anyway. Well, I'd like to say goodbye to all the fans and everybody out there. I appreciate it. Mike?
See you later, everybody, and thank you very much.
Parting advice for a bass player: get a drum that you. Hey, man, come on, you want to go?
Go for it.